Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. 27th of November, 2025 is going to be Super Thursday as different areas by elections are going to be conducted in different areas. And in this podcast, I am going to explain and demonstrate to you the two specific interest counties, areas, constituencies William Ruto is putting a lot of effort to regain, to make sure that UDA wins, even at the point the UDA is struggling. But the issue is not about them putting up effort to win, but the issue is setting up the by-election contest as a contest between William Ruto and Rigathi Gashagua. That by-election, if the tone is going to be set up in that manner, then I'm going to explain to you that William Ruto should expect doom coming in future. So kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos. And thank you very much for supporting this podcast. We do this each and every day because of your support, and we continue to say subscribe. Remember, here we do an in-depth analysis. I'm still shooting this video in the South Coast, the county of Kwale. So, of course, that is why sometimes it might not be a little bit lengthy and bit deep on more, but we hope that we are going to serve you something new, as we always do. Now, there are two counties that we are paying attention to. There are three areas, not two, three areas. The Malava by-election was actually when that was left vacant after the death of Maluli Njendi. The Malava by-election, Maluli Njendi won against UDA and ODM through ANC, Musalia Mudavadi's party. Now, Musalia Mudavadi, ANC party was folded to join UDA. So UDA is struggling to get Malava through Mudavadi's influence there. But Seth Panyako, who is DCP candidate under Rigathi Gashagua, is emerging as the strongest candidate in the area. And the plan is simple. If the two parties of DAP Kenya belonging to Natembea and DCP belonging to Rigathi Gashagua, if all of them will not strike a deal to field one candidate, then all the candidates will spread to join the race, and probably UDA is thinking that through that they can make their way there. And that is why they have dispatched Musalia Mudavadi in Malava. And recently, actually, Musalia Mudavadi met some border residents there. At the time, he was even confirming that there are some people who received the borders and never came to it. So that is also the reason why the president has rolled up what he called a nationwide youth program, while, struggling to say that he is not campaigning, but in real sense, they are campaign gimmicks.
Leo mko steto, wananchi wa Kanairo na wakaribisha hapa State House.
Niko ikulu ndani ya ikulu.
Sija teremusha standard ya State House. Nimeinua standard ya mwananchi wa kawaida pia. Leo hapa tumekuja sio siasa, tumekuja biashara. Every hustle matters. Na nilisema ya kwamba biashara ya kila mtu itaheshimika. Ya bodaboda na mama mboga na mahawa mahasla itaheshimika. Ndio Kenya kupatikane usawa. ile kazi yote tumefanya in the last 3 years ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba kuna usawa katika taifa letu la Kenya. Kila mmoja wetu ajihisi ya kwamba yeye ni Mkenya.
Saguda tunazamuleti lembeki.
Bless the work of their hands.
Atuwezi danabu masanegi.
Bless our country, Heavenly Father.
Asangiteka mzake zambo bila shapre mbachwe.
And everybody say, Amen.
Ikisema Kenya, unasema tuta. Kenya, tuta.
That is the campaign gimmick. So that is the strategy that is put there. But I'm going to look at, apart from Malava, the next one is Baringo. Baringo senator seat, after the senator also died. The initial plan, remember, the senator who died was elected on UDA ticket, and Chelugui, the former CS for Water, who worked under William Ruto's cabinet for the last 2 years until the reshuffle that was done last year, is eyeing the seat through Kanu ticket and facing off other candidates. In Baringo, the president had to pick even the former senator's wife to the cabinet. He was seconded to the cabinet just to try to appease the masses. This is a place that is going to, the Malava is going to be a truth meter on what Western is saying, how Western looks. And then Baringo one is also going to be a very good point on what the North Rift is saying. Remember, in Baringo is where there have been a lot of issues on matters of bandits. And here is a soundbite I would want you to listen to of Kaborek saying something about that by-election and why they need to go UDA.
Nyinyi mnajua kwamba last time ilikuwa hivi, lakini leo wachara tera round ngalje kile kombo kile banda kwa konga kile miss kile kimite chama nomba UDA. Asante sana Torot, sababu atungepata mali ya kupima nyinyi mzuri. Hii by election ya senator, hii vijana wamekuja wamepanga laini hapa yote na wazee watamaliza nomination. Alafu kutoke na mtu mwingine sijui ya chama ingine sijui Kanu nini. Alafu muepe UDA. Wena tera mpango ya kando. Chama kwa konga kile UDA. Alafu unajua kuna ile mikora zingine. Sile siko ile makona zingine, sinajaribu kuonyesha rais ya kwamba ile kazi amefanya, alikuwa anafikiri rais wetu ana plan. Rais amepanga mambo ya SHA, rais amepanga mambo ya barabara, rais amepanga mambo ya stima, rais wetu amepanga mambo ya affordable housing, rais amepanga mambo ya masomo yetu ambayo ni funding model ya university ya watoto yetu waende shule. Amepanga mambo ya masoko, saa hii tungo tunapanga mambo ya bottom up. Ile kazi rais yetu amefanya kwa ile miaka kidogo ikilinganishwa na ile nyingine ya miaka 60, imekuwa ni kazi ambayo inalinganishwa na zile zingine na iko mbele kuliko wale viongozi walikuja mbele yake. Na mtu mwenye atajaribu round hii kwenda hivi tunamwambia grrrr.
From this soundbite you understand President William Ruto is worried because UDA party is dead. That party is already dead, and probably they are looking for these by-elections as the platform of course, resuscitating the party. There is something I wanted to get from that soundbite of Kaborek. Kaborek is talking about the people should vote for UDA candidate because they are selling the president's agenda. If the President William Ruto, I don't know how many sweet words or how many proverbs or how many phrases they will use to try to convince the people on what they've done on the housing and those other projects that according to me are hot air and have not achieved the transformational, the feel-good effect that probably the hustlers wanted. not so much is going to change. And they've framed that narrative, they've framed the by-election message as a message between President William Ruto and Rigathi Gashagua. And this is well captured by Susan Kihika's attack on Rigathi Gashagua.
Mumwambie yule mama wa Nakuru asimuone ni mdogo afikiri atamtisha. Mimi hawezi nitisha. Tangu niwe senator nilisimama na wanaume nikawaangusha. Nikiwa gavana nikasimama na wanaume. Asifikiri ni kama mama ameona tu hivi. Hiyo upuzi yake apeleke wa Munyoro. Upuzi yake apeleke wapi? Upuzi apeleke wapi? Mwambie hapa Nakuru ni Rift Valley. Nakuru sio hiyo mlima anasema kila siku. Sisi hatutaki upuzi ya uchochezi, hatutaki fitina, hatutaki siasa mbaya. Sisi tunakaa pamoja kama ndugu. Hata sio hiyo makazi za upuzi anadanganyana nazo. Sisi ni mandugu na madada. Sisi hapa hakuna siasa ya upuzi ya shares. Asikuja kuandanganya saa hizi na alikuwa anasema maneno ya shares hapo zamani. Kwa hivyo mkimuona hapa akitangatanga, aambiwe hapa tutampea ruhusa kama ako na adabu. Kama anakuja polepole, kama anakuja na utaratibu. Lakini akikuja na fitina na ukabila atairudisha wa Monyo. Na mimi simuogopi. Sawa? Hata mimi ni fire, si fire. Hata mimi ni no. Mimi ni no. Mimi ni fire. Akwende kabisa.
Remember, Rigathi made an announcement and he said he's coming back in the country, urgently jetting back just to prepare for the coming by-elections. And of course, he was sending a message that is going to invest a bit of it in that by-election. And the president is looking at what Rigathi is looking at the contest between Rigathi Gashagua and William Ruto. They're trying to frame it that way. And this, I'm going to explain in details what it is. And that is why you can hear the MP saying they're bringing together aspirants so that they can settle on one candidate. This same strategy is what is also being employed in Mbeere North. And this is another area that the country is paying attention to. Geoffrey Ruku, who was the MP for that region, was appointed to the cabinet. For that constituency, was appointed to the cabinet. And I think appointment of Ruku to the cabinet was, President was looking for some balancing effect, where probably in Mount Kenya East, can I trigger a by-election so that I can test what is my might or what is the patronage level or the loyalty level of Mount Kenya East, especially after appointing Kithure Kindiki as the deputy president. And I'm using the right word, appointing. Do you know that UDA candidates who are eyeing that seat from Mbeere North, they were brought together in a hotel in Nakuru, locked up for 2 days, and told to come out with one candidate, and it failed. Immediately, they walked out of the meeting. All of the aspirants said they are going to face off in the ballot, so that Mwananchi can actually assess and make decision on who he or she wants, on who they want to be their next MP. What followed is a very ugly, a very ugly affair, and I'm using the word ugly here. And people who come from that area must, you can tell us what exactly is that and why that is happening. And I'm seeing, I'm yet to see Murkomen doing Jukwaa la Usalama in that area. I've been to Embu. In Embu town, there are very Merus doing business there. Same, I think, to other parts of Embu. So I don't know why all of a sudden, some people from Embu feel threatened that Merus are working there and Merus are investing there, and it has created a tribal conflict. In fact, 2 days ago, I think last week there was some violence in Mbere because they were kicking out Merus there. And it has everything to do with that by-election. Because someone feels there are many Merus in Mbere and ordinarily in Embu, and these Merus wamekata kura pale, and they're likely to vote there. And all of a sudden, people have become uncomfortable and they're hiding under the notion of they have taken over businesses. Remember, when I've always seen this is the same conflict, the sibling conflict that used to happen in Sondo, where people used to, fight over kiosks. Some do another side, fighting over some kiosks. Wale wametubia ng'ombe, au wametubia ng'ombe, then it becomes very chaotic now. That kind of sibling rivalry is also brewing in Mbere. And I'm seeing two things. Those are 3 areas that the president is paying attention to, probably for UDA to win. But according to the observation that I've seen, I'm yet to see a UDA caravan doing campaigns anywhere. Even in Mbere, the campaigns have been set up there. And I think the person that has been put up to campaign is Kindiki, and Kindiki is making a blunder to set up that by-election as a contest between him and Rigathi Gashagua. In fact, I've listened to his statement today saying that, if Rigathi is not careful, if Rigathi should leave him and not fight him, because according to him, that is the only way they can retain power. And he's already saying that probably they feel threatened, that with the presence of Rigathi coming in the picture, their position is coming under threat. But to what end? The voter is the deciding factor here. And I can tell you, William Ruto has established his machinery. The state machinery has been charged against Rigathi Gashagua and Rigathi Gashagua's party. And they're using of course, the weak points of, cousins, the issue of shareholding and this and that. They're using that. And while what they are telling the people while vouching for those positions here is, don't support Rigathi candidate because of shareholding. Don't support a candidate from Rigathi's party because of what Rigathi said, this and that. And the voter must be very careful. The voter must be very careful because, let me tell you, in this by-election, there are 3 things going to be tested. Number 1, they are going to test the Gen Z power. They're going to test, the state is going to test what is the power of Gen Z. And the power of Gen Z here is about turnout. Remember the turnouts in the online euphoria. There will be a lot of onslaught against the president online, and see, can the online vote be mobilized on the voting day? They're going to test one. Number 2, I told you the 3 things they're going to test in that by-election. They're going to test, can we buy the voter? Can we buy the voter? You see, these empowerment programs of giving people money, all this has been geared, and the only objective is this. I can tell you I will not be shocked, we'll cover those by-elections. The days when there will be those by-elections, we will not be shocked when we see people rolling with millions and giving people. A voter can even be given 10,000 to vote for a candidate. And the state is going to try the use of money. The way they're going to pour money in those by-elections, especially those 3, the Malava one, Baringo one, where poverty levels is even high, and the one in Mbere, where elections are also based on such factors. Money is going to be used. And that is the other factor they're going to test. And the last one they're going to test is the broad-based deal. Yes, they will ask ODM, don't field candidate there, field candidate there, let's field candidate there. And then Raila will be put in the front line to campaign it. And it will be a test of, do the government have the numbers on table? So it's upon the voter to be careful about. Now, let me finish by saying, Rigathi has been set out as the hate object, and the by-election is framed as a contest between Rigathi and William Ruto. It is a blunder because these by-elections are going to set clearly the mood for 2027 elections. It's going to set the mood. It's a make from immediately after those by-elections. Let me tell you, everyone, those MPs, remember of the by-elections on 27th, it will talk only like the Senate, the Assembly will only be there for the next 1 week. Then after that, they go for recess until February 2026. From that time to February, the time Parliament will be in recess, that will be a campaign period, and 2027 campaigns in 2026, January, shall have taken a different trajectory. I can tell you, that's going to start. And it's a blunder because they will actually coalesce the opposition, William Ruto's opponent, against around Rigathi, and while Rigathi Gashagua might not even be the candidate. And he would actually bring it around it. But why that is there is because the president doesn't want, and the state doesn't want you to talk about, they're the ones that are talking about housing, SHA, and all that. But they don't want to be asked what they promised. They don't want to be asked about the killings. Those are the things they don't want to ask. And while you set out that campaign as Ruto versus Rigathi, you might be shocked.